Let me ask you this. When it comes to scaling, what are some of the biggest challenges or some of the biggest lessons you've learned from challenges when it comes to scaling, putting people in place? Because it's one thing to grow a business. It's an entire another thing to scale it and have moving people and a franchise. What are some lessons you've learned that you can share with entrepreneurs watching this when it comes to scaling?
Well, first and foremost, you have to have a very diligent hiring process. They say hire slow, fire fast, right? And most importantly, you have to make sure they understand what your vision is, what your culture is, what you're trying to achieve, and they're in. You want to make sure they're 100% in. And obviously another thing is to have standard operating procedures and protocols. Everything has to be written down, followed correctly. But if you have shared their vision with them and create a great culture, all that will fall in place.
So it's all about putting systems in place.
Absolutely.
And then how important has coaching been? Because I'm sure you've had business coaches, fitness coaches along the way.
Absolutely.
And you've coached people. Can you talk to me about how important coaching has been in your own life, in your business?
Coaching is just essential. Think about it. Why reinvent the wheel? If you want to go and do something, find out who's already done it and ask them how they done it so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that they have done. It's just very, I don't understand why there's an issue with people wanting to spend money on coaching or anything like that, especially if they already know, hey, don't spend money on coach that hasn't done anything before or you don't want to be like.
Right.
If somebody's already where you want to be, befriend them, pay them, do whatever, you just get around them.
Right, yeah, proximity is power.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, then so talk to me about the actual business growth, because you said you're 40, you're broke, Ale approaches you to start it, you guys start getting a little bit of success, picking up momentum. How quick was it before you realized, like, whoa, this is going to be a big multi-million-dollar thing? How long did it take to get to that first million in revenue and beyond that? Like, what was the growth like initially?
Well, I remember, we started in, 2010, I believe, right?
Oh, less than a decade ago.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
2010, we started, and we struggled the first 4 or 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, we struggled.
Wow.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest paycheck I got from a camp up until 2014, was like $5,000 a month.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And back then, me and Ali was celebrating. Oh my God! Like,
we're profitable. Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just no joke. You know what I mean? And when we started, scaling the business and licensing and franchising, and people love what we do. That's when we started the massive growth.
Now, do you find that a lot, because there's a lot of competitors in this space? Mm-hmm. What do you find that people who are having success in the fitness space are doing versus people who are not having success? What are some of the pitfalls that you're finding, not just in fitness, but just in general? What do you notice about businesses that ended up doing well versus ones that don't, even if the idea initially is good?
Well, people in this day and age, the only competitive advantage you have is taking care of people. Look, everybody can market like you. Everybody can put up a website. Anybody can post on an Instagram page. At the end of the day, what it really comes down is, are you getting people results, and are you taking care of them? You know what I mean? And if you are able to do that consistently, then this is the competitive edge. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, it's not. At the end of the day, results and relationships is all it's all about.
And that's powerful. Now, what about when it comes to like you looking now at everything you've built? What are some of the things that you would have done differently, or maybe some challenges along the way that really like you would have sort of played differently? I guess my question would be like, what are some regrets you have along the way, or maybe tough times that you learned from? Like, what are some things that if you could redo it all over, you would have done differently?
Well, honestly, I don't believe in regrets in life. I believe that everything that happened to you at that time that might have been unpleasant happened for a reason. There's a learning lesson in there. So as long as you learn from it, there shouldn't be any regrets and and all that kind of stuff, which, you just
Right.
point out what you learn from it. Growing up, I was always the one, I guess because I didn't have siblings, I always wanted to create something with others. I think it was really cool to get a bunch of people, we all work on different projects. And
Team player.
And team player and get stuff done, because I guess I never had siblings. I always did things on my own. And, looking back right now, sometimes that wasn't reciprocated. Does that make sense? Some wasn't reciprocated. Looking back right now, I give opportunities to so many people, and like I said, I don't regret it. But looking back, maybe I should have looked up. Yeah, I should been more diligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
been more careful about.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's not about the opportunity or anything they did. For me, all I want is someone to be grateful. And when you have opportunities and people feel entitled and they're not grateful, they're like, oh, I didn't even bother. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get it. Now, I want to ask you this too, and maybe this is a little personal, but
Yeah.
I got to ask, when your ex-wife sees you now,
Yeah.
how does she feel about, the fact that you were in such a rough situation then and were able to turn around? I mean, that must be a pretty cool feeling for you, right?
I don't know, but I mean, I'll tell you right now, man,
Yeah.
it's not a pretty thing.
Right.
It's not a pretty thing. It's they're like, she can't figure it out. What happened? Like, were you hiding things from me, or did
Yeah.
you have stashed money in a garbage can or something
Right,
like that?
yeah.
And I'm not even joking. This was actually brought up in court.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually brought up in court. And they're like, wait a second. What, you were hiding money from me. How come, in, like I said, 2013, 2012, 2011, 2010, I think my tax returns was 80,000, 100,000, a month. I'm sorry, a year. That was it. And in 2014, my tax return was like, that was, we got separated like September or August of 2014. And 2014, that whole year, my tax return was like 300, a little over 300,000, right? And 2015, all of a sudden, I 10x that.
Yeah.
Her attorney's like,
How?
how? What's going on? You know what I mean?
Like the camp.
You know what I mean? And yeah, so it's been, and it still is a long battle.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm sure people ask you all the time about, your routine and your rituals. And this is something that I know you on a personal level, and this is one thing I admire you tremendously for. Can you talk a little bit about the routine that you've built the business on and built your life around? Because you get up at 4 a.m.
3.
3 a.m.
I'm in the gym at 4.
Wow. So you get up every single day at 3 a.m.
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
What is it? What is the mindset that's allowed you to adopt that routine and even past comfort? Because now obviously you're at a point where, you don't need to push if you don't want to. You could be comfortable. A lot of people get comfortable on the way up. What is it that keeps you so hungry, so disciplined on the schedule? Is it just a lifestyle habit now? I mean, what is it that allows you to sustain that?
That's a great question. That's such a great question. I ask myself that, and the only thing that I can come up with right now, I know why I did it initially. I know I'm hungry. I want to achieve things. I want to get things done. I want to move things forward.
How old were you when you started doing that?
Gosh, man, I started doing that, I would say, at 25, 26.
So since then, you've been dominantly waking up at this time.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, when I went to chiropractic school, when I graduated and I went to chiropractic school, I lived in Irvine. Chiropractic school was in Whittier. And I was bodybuilding. I had 21 to 23 units a semester. And I was getting ready for a National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. So I literally would leave the house with 3 bags. One of them my book bag, one of them my meal prep, and the other one was my gym clothes.
Yeah.
I would leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, would come home like 10 o'clock at night. And I just wanted to get all my stuff done. So ever since then, and ever since my business, I had to get up, in the morning, train clients and get things done and make calls and prospects and all that kind of stuff. And now it's to the point that I've done it so much that I'm comfortable when I'm uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're used to being uncomfortable, so it's like a habit, yeah.
And another thing I can share with you, and I drive my wife crazy.
Right.
Because I can't sit still and just Netflix and chill.
Right.
Like it's just like that. She looks at me like, "Can you just relax?"
Or like turn off.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this thing. And I'm like, oh my God, man! Like I need to read a book. This is not doing anything for my life. Remember my top 2 things, right? Make money, spend time with my children, right? Okay, I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is not making me any money, and it's not giving me any time with my children. But wait a second, but you have to do it because your wife wants to do it, and you have to spend time with your wife. You know, and that's a third one now that's added
pillar,
to it.
yeah.
You know, the third pillar, I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, I got to make sure that I got to make her happy, and you know,
Right.
she likes to you know, relax and, you know, cuddle on you know, and watch it like a good movie and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that now I'm uncomfortable when I'm comfortable.
That's really interesting.
I'm so uncomfortable when I'm comfortable.
If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we bring you the very best in personal development content, interviews, and insight to help inspire you to take your life and your dreams and make them a reality. And also, if you want to know how to book dream guests the same way I have, you can check the link below for my top 3 secrets. So if you have a podcast or a show or whatever it is and you want to collaborate with them, if you click that link below, I'll give you those top 3 secrets to help you get in touch with anybody. And also, don't forget that The Passionate Few is available on media platforms as well. So you can subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, thank you for being one of the Passionate Few.